Okay, main camera. Hello.
Hello.
Yay! We will go into 30 seconds. Let's get the 30 second running first. Yes. Hello, good afternoon. Yeah, welcome to Asphere 1969. And our session today is actually Moments by Edmund, documentation of life through the lens. Okay, before I introduce more, let's pick up our phone and like and share. Okay, the killing share with our friend. So the killing at the same time, because I always believe that by sharing your timeline, people can revisit again. It's like last time we rewind. And the timeline is actually good that you can look at it, and those people that actually want to learn something today, along the way, some insight, they can just literally so-called save it, share, like and share, which I'm doing it now together with my special guest, Apple. Yes. Is it there?
Yep.
Yes. Oh, you're fast. I still want to share more. Okay, soon. Okay, good. Okay. Good. Okay, hello. Okay, one more time. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Askfield.1969. And actually, today's session is Moments by Edmund and documentation of life through the lens. And I have with me my special guest. Okay, special guest, okay, is Apple.
Hello, everyone.
Apple,
Good
introduce
afternoon.
yourself.
And thank you, Artsphere, for having me here. And also thank you, Edmund, for inviting me.
Yes, I actually get to know Apple. Actually, in fact, she was very bubbly and the interesting. I think she's a lot of multi-talented. But the key thing actually, there's so many things that I feel is interesting that she should share. And it's about photography and it's about documentation of life. There's so many things. But a quick check again. So let's toggle and look at the slide again. Okay. So this is Apple, and I managed to see this picture. Okay, that you share. It's a baby holding an apple. So do a quick introduction about yourself. Yep. What made you started and what's your background? Is it you're studying accounting or you study finance? And why you become a professional photographer?
So I started PetiteStory in 2008.
2008. Okay.
And that was when I go full-time in photography. And before to that, I was doing part-time and I was juggling part-time photography and also my studies in Nanyang Academy of Fine Arts.
Okay, so you're from NAFA. Wow, okay. Then the fact that this journey, we can say, is almost like 11 years already.
Is it? I lost count.
2002.
I don't dare to count.
Yeah, okay. So the interesting part is actually why documentation of life, and the fact of the matter, you also share that you are a photographic storyteller.
I kind of touch of photography is during Nanyang Academy of Fine Arts during my studies, and my photography lecturer Bob Lee is actually a journalistic photographer.
Okay.
He was with SPH then, and the stories that he shared during his class was very inspiring, and I can still remember the very first photo that he shared. First day of class, he showed a photo. You know, that time there were some suicide cases. So the mother tied red string with the child, and then he showed us a close-up of the red string and things like that. So he showed a lot of photos. Why he wanted to take this photo, the meaning behind the photo, and the importance of journalistic photography. And then also because we are design student as well, photography was just part of the module. So as design student, we tend to add lens flare lah, we tend to add interesting color lah, fake clouds lah, fake light lah. But he was telling us, if you want to get at all these, right, get it straight from the camera. You don't edit in. Of course, there is design. Of course, there is personal preference. But he said, if you can get it right straight from the camera, you get it.
Oh, so
Yes,
wow.
and he's also on to a lot of social projects. He even teaches the blind how to take photos.
Wow.
And that actually inspired me a lot. That as a girl, you like to take selfie, you like to take pretty things.
Yeah.
But is there any way that we can use camera to actually contribute to society and then to record important moments down? So I think that's very inspiring, and that's how I got started to photography.
Very interesting. Actually, from what I hear from Apple itself, actually, in fact, it's the mentor. It's the first person that actually bring her and give her the enlightenment about the journey of photography. And that's Bob. If Bob is
Bob
up there,
Lee.
Bob Lee is up there. I must really, really, you change a person's life and the perspective. And I asked her to introduce herself, but she talked so much about somebody that it really inspired her to come to this journey. And in fact, we can say photography, we can say it's really not just a man's world, but it's really very tough at the same time. So to see Apple and by your enlightenment at that point in time during her school days, right?
Yes.
Tamate probably on NAFA.
NAFA.
NAFA, yeah, during NAFA days. So Bob, I think you do a good part to actually nurture her. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Actually, we still do keep in touch. Actually, after my full time, I still show him some of my portfolios, and then he still share with me how can I be better, and then try to put more meaning into taking photographs.
Very good. I think that's why the documentation of life is very meaningful to myself also, because as a parent, as a father, then we got older mom, my mom, my dad passed on already. So the key thing, in fact, documentation is very important. It's how you documentation is the next thing. So let's look at the picture that how Apple journey come about. So this picture, when she shared this picture, I say, wow, this baby is so cute, smiley face. But why this picture?
So when I got into full time in 2008, right? So for the first few years, I started more. I focused more on weddings, and that's the most easy to step onto this industry. So first few years, I focused a lot on wedding, and then after a few years, my couple start to come back and look for me, and they say, hey, I'm pregnant. Hey, we're starting a family. Can we take some family photos? Can you document me, document my baby and things like that. So, and then I took on another few years taking lifestyle photography. I think that newborn babies are so delicate. I don't really dare to touch them and things like that. So usually what I will do is I will actually let the couple to hold them, and then I will direct them in front of the camera and things. I still do take this kind of photo as well, but after a few years I felt that actually the newborns they're so cute. I just want to capture the softness, the tiny little hands, the tiny hairs. So I started to think that, can I do something more, focus on the baby more, document the baby more. So I actually went for a workshop by an Australian photographer. So, and that's how I, got trained, how to pose the baby, how to handle the newborn during the shoots, and then pose them, put them into pretty little baskets, pretty little balls, little wooden beds, and that's how I got it started. And then after I went to the workshop, right? So this newborn photo is one of the first three that I took, and I really, really, really love this photo very much. I find peace in this photo. It's like I waited so long for him to smile, and then he was just like, his cheeks, and then he's so peaceful, and then you can see all the softness in him, and that keeps me going. At the point of time, I felt that, oh, this is it. Well, I really love this. I should have done this so many years ago. Why did I not focus on the newborn so much? So this is the photo that first got me so high in capturing the newborn.
I think when you hear Apple sharing, she's so excited, so passionate about it. And the key thing actually, in fact, she always believed that everything must start learning. If you don't know, must learn and learn from the best. So she even spent money to learn from Australia photographer to actually shoot baby from a transition of shooting wedding. So we can say, of course, we can say wedding is a good entry, but not everybody can also handle wedding as easy also, because it's about people, correct? And for you to transition into baby itself, right? And the picture that this is the first picture.
First
This was the
I
first
think
picture.
I think this is the first baby or
Wow.
second baby after so many years.
And that get you excited.
Yes, I should have done this so many years ago. Why did I just keep on getting the couple to carry and then I'm standing so far away? I should go close to the newborn.
Yes.
Right, yes.
So I think in photography itself, whether you're a photojournalist or you're capturing moments itself, a lot of times get connection to the subject.
Especially, and I want to do more for my wedding couple. It's not like after wedding, then like that's it.
Yeah.
I just want to carry on and then get to know them and then help them document their lives.
That's where the next slide that you can see is in fact is really a documentation, which I saw the picture itself. It's like
This one is more
Wow.
recent.
yeah.
This one is so the previous photo was like in 2017, 2016.
So 4-5 years ago.
Yeah, just now that
Yeah,
photo.
yeah.
So this one is more recent. This one is just I think last year or this year.
Mm.
So I love to capture, those lines, the tiny little hands, you see, and then also the bonding between the parents and the child. Yes.
Yeah, those who are just watch us live itself, welcome to Ask 1969, and our sharing session is Moment by Edmund, documentation of life through the lens. And I have with me is actually my special guest, Apple. So we are sharing how she started from the fact that actually it's triggered by a lecturer, and eventually from a transition from wedding, and eventually documentation through lens, and just start taking baby. And she was very excited about sharing baby. So now the next slide that I share is actually the transition. So she started taking babies like 5 years ago.
More than that.
More than that, yeah, yeah. So see, got Audrey is here. It's so sweet. Yeah,
you,
baby
Audrey.
picture. Yeah. Okay. So the next slide. This one. So guess actually audience out there. Now we're actually sharing the transition of just baby picture to now this picture. Yes. So why only take the foot, the feet?
Actually, I like to focus different parts of the body. So there's so much photos I want to share, but I won't pick this one. So it kind of like that's the starting footprint that the newborn is going to face in the future.
Yep.
So I love to capture all the small little lines, small little toes, small little hands, small little eyebrow, the neck, and the ears. And I kind of think that going so close up, and capture is really very meaningful and yeah.
So most of the time, the parents actually very open and let you do all the adjustment, the angle. They okay lah.
So far, all my couples are trust me. Yeah.
So actually, in fact, photography, the trust and the chemistry is very important. Yeah. Then why you shoot the man holding the baby? I thought normally it's like the mom would be the one holding the baby.
Yeah, we see a lot of portfolios. The mom holding the baby, but I feel that father can be very loving as well. I like to capture the bond between father and the baby, and then the mother and the baby, and I like to include the grandparents into the shoot as well.
Very good, very good. In fact, when we're actually capturing the moments and all this stuff, every subject should be inclusive. Correct. It's part of the journey of whether the baby or the parent. Yeah. Okay. Then the next slide we can see is actually in fact, wow. See, now we can see documentation of life. So we move from baby, then the transition, then now go back to your original wedding. Yeah, can you share a bit more about this couple?
This photo was taken about 2013.
2013.
Yeah.
Okay.
So actually, I was sharing a family photo, and then Edmund said, "You captured the wedding. Can you still find that photo?" And then I was like, "What?" So last night I go through a lot of hard disks just to find the photo.
So, and why this angle and why this picture itself?
So this is like the photo gallery wall, which I really love it. And if I see couple house they have this, right, I will ask them to take a photo with it, because this is like the wall of their milestone, their journey, and I really love the fact that they are documenting all the moments in their life.
Very good. In fact, this itself is already a documentation of their own life of this particular couple, and they actually put this frame itself into their wall itself, not because of wedding shot. they already put this thing at their home,
I
right?
think it's their parents' place.
At the parents' place, so
Mm.
meaningful. So we can say documentation of life is actually not just in the hand of photographer. We ourselves, whether as a parent or as a normal audience out there, we can start taking pictures, all this documentation, and as a memory itself. Right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So you can see next slide. Wow, this one very emotional.
Mm.
Yeah, so can share a bit more. And when you take all this shot itself, do the audience, do the subject know that you're taking, or how do you prepare yourself?
For these 3 photos,
Yeah.
of course they know there's a photographer during the wedding.
Mm.
But for these 3 photos, it's more of impromptu. So the first one, the bride was leaving the house, and then she started talking to the mom. And I was still wearing my shoe. I remember this one just many years back. I was still wearing my shoe out of the door. Then they were still like mumbling to each other, and then suddenly the mom just cried and then can't bear to let her go. And so then she just ayo mommy so more. Then she just like hugged. So I really love that moment.
And the key thing actually, well, you're halfway wearing your shoe, but you just find that this moment really must capture.
Yes, definitely. And then the second one is hugging the father after the first dance.
After the first dance.
Yeah, so it was like quite a quiet shot, I feel. There's no like tears and everything, but you can see the expression of the father is so heartwarming.
Yeah.
And actually this father is always staying in Japan, and then this bride is always traveling around the world, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so I think they have not seen each other for some time. So that's why I feel that this hug is more meaningful and things like that. Sometimes fathers, they tend not to express themselves so much, like they tend not to talk to you so much.
Yeah,
Sometimes just a simple hug can say so many words.
The thing is, most Asian parents are actually either they're strict or they're actually not so expressive. Yeah, especially the older generation side, which I feel that firm is important, especially in instill discipline. But you manage to capture that moment actually very, very meaningful. And when you have this kind of documentation, you go back again and revisit the picture 10 years later. You can see that point in time how emotional you feel and you're able to connect yourself. Yeah. So in your journey of taking all these pictures itself, is there any situation where you feel yourself really involved and you really touched by it that you also halfway you should you also cry? For such thing, right?
A lot. But I have to tell myself not to cry. And because it's like otherwise it will be all theory and then I'll take blur photographs. Yeah, but a lot of times. Especially when I see the groom cry, especially when I see the parents cry. And sometimes, you know, I often I often want to bring a second photographer, because sometimes when I'm with a couple, actually things happen behind the couple's back.
Yeah.
Sounds very wrong. I phrased that sounds very wrong. So actually sometimes the parents, they will talk among themselves, they will think everything. So I normally try to bring a second photographer whereby, you know, we can be there at different parts.
So you can document the whole story from the background, what is happening at the same time, what you're actually facing at the point in time also.
Yeah,
so cover all areas.
Sometimes when you see, you know, the couple are maybe serving tea to a relative, but then maybe the parents is at the kitchen and then talking and looking at them and things like that. But I have to photograph. They're serving tea, right? So usually I'll bring a second photographer. We'll switch roles. Sometimes I will stick with, you know, I'll blend in with the guests and then to take more photographs.
That's why you need as a photographic storyteller. In fact, you got to be very spontaneous and you actually got to be people person.
Yes.
So luckily you're a very people person. You're so sociable and yeah, you're so many things that actually, in fact, is able to connect the audience. Yeah. So the next picture I can see also is where this picture. When you share this picture itself, I was wondering, wow, it's like, is it taken in the 70s, 80s? Because we can watch pictures, yeah. Okay, share a bit more.
So actually this was at the wedding. It was the ladies were getting ready in another room. This is in the hotel. So I just came out from the ladies' room and I come out the living area. And then I shot this shot, That's why the composition is a bit weird here. I just came out of the room, and then I saw this, I quickly snap. Typically when the ladies are all getting ready, right? I'll always be inside there because there's more things to shoot. But I like to move around the area and then see more things. And then when I came out of the ladies' room, I was like, oh, see this, I must take. Because typically I see the men, right? When the girls are getting ready, the men will be there looking at TV, reading newspaper, playing with the phone, right? So when I see this, you see all the men are all surrounding the little princess, and you see the
connection.
yes, you see the connection here. You see the top left of the photo.
Yes.
He was just sniffing the little princess, the smell, and then the other father here taking photo of the child of the.
The other one must be the grandparents.
Yes, the other one is the grandparent. Looking at all these, the grandfather must be like, wow, my son, my granddaughter. It's such a joy looking at them doing their own thing. That's what usually grandparents do, right? And then so you see all the males here, they are all making use of their every time to capture moments. And I was so touched by this, It's like usually men they are not
too involved.
Yeah, not say not involved. They don't tend to show this soft side in front of people, in front of their wife and everything.
Yeah.
So when their wife and girlfriends are not there, actually they're so loving when no one is watching them. Actually, they are very soft. You see he's carrying the girl and then he feels the smell of the baby.
I really truly like this picture, and actually it's not just a posy wedding shot itself. And this is really a documentation, and this is really very photojournalistic, because really the connection of the man and the relationship. Yeah, and I like the way you really look around the subject. That's why you really are the photographic storyteller, and you're able to document stories that actually, in fact, we always say you're prepared anytime. Yeah. Very nice, very nice. And it's a very good experience, right? I think to recall back this picture is that you can be there at this point in time, although you're looking at the picture now.
I think they thought no one was watching them.
So did you manage to, when they see the picture, how were they surprised and anything?
I handed to the couple. The couple did give some feedback. Yeah.
When they got so many pictures itself, right? They won't zoom into one at a point in time. Just look at all pictures so nice, right?
So that's the thing. So when it comes to wedding photo, right, I always tell my couple, the photos that you take now or I take now, it's not for you now. It's for 10, 20 years down the road. It's for your future generation, right? Maybe now you don't see this photo in your photo album, like maybe 1,000 photos. Maybe you don't see this photo, but maybe 10 years later when you come back, you'll spot different things of the wedding album. And then that's where, things are getting more meaningful and meaningful after years and years later on when you come and see this photo. And it definitely means something when these two little princesses see this photo in the future. And also the grandfather, things like that. Yeah. Even though you cannot see the grandfather face, but of course I have other shots.
But this
is the first shot when I step out of the ladies' room when they were getting ready. This is the first photo I step out of the room and
actually, at this stage, also the audience would love to actually see what's your photography gear. Well, as a female itself, you carry a lot of gear. Actually, it'll be quite tough. Right? Even for me to bring for wedding itself, it's actually here and there, flash itself. What was the basic to start with? And I saw some cameras actually, in fact, it's very traditional, vintage. You can show the audience.
You asked me to bring camera. I thought you just go and put on the table.
Why you got this particular vintage? Is it you?
This one?
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
This one is a Nikon FM10. This one is actually a film camera.
Wow.
So actually, I shoot digital, but I love the color that film gives. So I try to bring a film camera whenever I go, but my main is still on digital because film, I still very scared lah.
The exposure, I can't see. No preview. 36 row means 36. Every frame counts.
And then what if I open and then it got overexposed already? Oh, I'm very scared. And what if I that something happened at the printing lab or anything? I'm very scared, And there's only like 30 plus film in each row.
36,
Yes, and then every time I press the shutter, I'll be like, I'll think twice.
So this is working. This also is still
Both
working.
is working.
Oh,
Both
it's
is
still
working. I
working.
tried it before.
Wow.
But I will bring this FM10 out. Yeah, because my gears are all Nikon.
Okay.
So this one, it can work with all my other Nikon
Wow.
lenses, and it will kind of cohesive color across all my Nikons.
Actually, very interesting. I also started photography using film, and at that point in time, FM10, FM2 is actually in fact very popular for beginner, for learner, or even professional also using this one because nowadays it's really fast and the whole thing handling is very good. Yeah.
I love this because of the chrome body.
Chrome
so
body.
That's why I bought this.
So again, audience out there, we're very lucky. It's like instead of just sharing pictures, now we see a vintage camera over here. And this one is
Not
actually,
really vintage,
it's actually, what's the lens? What's the main lens?
This one.
Ah.
This one, I really love this one. When I saw this, I was like, oh my god, what is this? What is
Yeah,
this?
my toy, man.
So this one is actually a camera.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
The film, is it using the same type of film?
So this one is medium format.
Oh, medium format.
Yes, correct.
So is it easier to get this medium format film nowadays?
It should
somewhere
still be easy, but because this one is so delicate, I try not to bring out.
Okay.
Yeah, so I only took like 1 or 2 rolls and then I stopped. I put it in my dry box because this one is so delicate. So I really scared that, I'll spoil it.
Actually, this is the first time that I'm seeing a vintage camera over here directly. Yeah, it's so delicate and it's so interesting. It's not capturing documentation through the lens. As much as technology is so good and phone is so good, it started or everything is about capturing the light, capturing the moment, capturing the speed.
I really respect all the film photographers in the past.
Yeah.
They can get all the exposure and they can be so fast. I really respect them.
I think we need to have a next series to invite Apple again to talk about the camera,
film?
the gear itself, film photography itself. So okay, let's continue the next one. I'm very happy to see this camera. Yeah. Okay, next one. This picture.
So this one is the groom was having the first dance with the mom, and then the groom's daughter just pop up and then just give a flower to them. And I really like this one because typically will you be mad if someone go and interrupt the first dance?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
In my point of view, I feel that this is something that is worth capturing.
Yeah.
I wonder what goes through their mind because like the mom was having a first dance with the son, and then maybe things were going through her mind, and then suddenly the granddaughter comes and give her a flower. So I feel that this whole experience, this whole dance is more meaningful that way.
Yeah, in fact, the audience will out there and say, "Hey, how come got the daughter, the husband, the father?" But the key thing actually, in fact, is able to capture a relationship. So in fact, you can also to share the husband, the father actually remarried, right? This wedding. Yeah, yet the connection is there. Yet actually, it's very well documentation of capturing this picture and the moment itself. So very meaningful. I think the girl 10 years later, when she grew up, you see this moment that she passed the flower, will be very touched.
So actually, there's a lot more moments going on to maybe the bride and the daughter. But what I like here is the 3 generation. I love photos that includes all the different generation inside, and that really warms my heart every time.
So that's why this picture come about. When I see this picture, wow, so interesting. Can you share a bit more?
So this one also taken some time back, and actually before the wedding, how should I put it? Chinese typically are more shy in expressing themselves towards the love between the parents and the child. So so before the wedding, I was meeting the couple, and then the bride was saying, "I'm very shy. All the hugging I see in your portfolio, are they real? Are they real? Are they like stage or anything?" What I usually tell my couples is that I typically try not to interrupt any moment, but usually I will still try to direct if everybody is not sure what's going on. Usually I'll tell them, okay, what's going to happen next is serve tea, what's going to happen next is veil this, and then I'll try to step away and let the capture flow. So actually, what happened in this photo is that they were about to veil the bride,
Yeah.
and then ready to wait for the groom to arrive. But I can see that the parents, especially the mom, her mom is constantly like trying to say something, but kind of swallow the words back.
Mm.
I saw this and I feel that maybe she need a little bit of push to express herself and things like that. And then especially when things are going on very rah in the wedding, so there's no one to notice her except for maybe for the husband, the father here. So just before the veil, I said, hey, maybe you look at your mom, look at your father. Is there anything you want to say, or you just give a quick hug? And then before we go out of the house or something, before we start the veiling, so she just looked at the mama, and then suddenly the mom cried. And then the mom start to express herself and start talking and things like that. So I still feel that Asian parents, especially Chinese parents, they are still very shy and very reserved in expressing their love. So wedding, you're about to step out of the house and build your own family. If you don't express your love, then when are you waiting for it? So sometimes they just need someone to push them a little bit, and I think probably that might open up a new, closer bonding after this hug. Right, so I don't mind to be the one pushing a little bit for this, but maybe some photographers might not agree, like maybe to a certain consideration it's still staged, but sometimes you just need a little bit of push.
Yes, as much as what I was sharing, I find that some of the pictures you need to post, but the emotional moments that you're ready to capture, you can't post. And I find that actually what she actually able to get the moment, the emotion come into play, but she feel that scenery, that moment is actually building up. Yeah, so when you say most of the parents are actually very not expressive, but you're able to document it correctly in the same thing, that when you look back again 20 years later, you say, wow, that was the moment.
Yeah, I know everybody is busy and everything like that. Being a bride, you still have a lot of things to jaga and everything. But just take a few seconds, stop there, look at your parents. That's just a little thing I asked for, and I was glad that I did that. Hopefully they, all this will open up to a close, better bonding.
Yes. We got friends out there, or Sylvia, Karen T. Hello. There's another friend, November Rain. Is it your friend, November Rain?
My relative.
Relative, November. Hey, hello, November Rain. There's a
Thank you for
Chingni. Is it Chingni?
Yes.
Wow, Chingni online.
My Japanese classmate.
Japanese classmate. Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Next session, maybe you ask Apple to share about how to speak Japanese in photography itself. Okay, next one. Wow, this picture. I think we got, there's so much things to share. We got 10 more minutes, but there's another next session again. So let's share about this picture itself.
So I met this elderly couple
Ah.
at a wedding when I was photographing the ceremony and things like that. So they were telling me that they love documentation. So they always, like certain milestone in life, they always print the photograph.
Let me keep up.
I love this. So they will print photos and then keep in their wallet and bring it to them wherever they go. So they were telling me, this one is, their wedding photo. This one is when they were traveling, and then this one was at whose wedding, and then things like that. So, maybe elders, they don't keep the photos in the phone, but there's no difference in keeping photos in the phone or print it out. But they like to keep it near them. They put it in their wallet, and they always like to bring out and remember the moment. So I really love about this documentation.
Actually, this picture itself that you capture is already very meaningful because of the subject behind this picture itself. Because Apple is actually documenting as a photographer to capture all the moment in the wedding.
In the wedding, yes.
In the wedding, this particular couple and the guest itself already documented their own life. And the interesting part is they print the picture and put their wallet.
Correct, bring it to them wherever they go. So you can see how loving they are, and this photo really serves as a memory, and correct.
Yeah. Very good. I feel so meaningful as okay, wow. So from here itself, we move after couple, then we go for this maternity shot?
So couples sometimes come back to me and then, hey, I'm pregnant. Can you capture some photos and things like that? So as a female, right? So it's how to say. I love
Privilege.
to yeah. So I feel that being a woman is a privilege to experience life for me inside our body. I feel that it's really important moments to capture it lah. And a lot of the women will like, don't want lah, my stomach not nice or maybe the marks can you Photoshop it. But I will try to encourage them and empower women to take more photos, revealing more of their stomach, appreciate their body more during this part of your life. And that's where
Actually, one of our audience out there, Candy, she actually will be delivery in October.
Don't stress.
Yeah. So I think this kind of documentation will be very, very meaningful. And the key thing is actually, as a female photographer, you got a lot of privilege. That whether the female mother is actually mummy is actually to be, it is more open, more comfortable to having a female photographer to shoot their certain parts of their body itself. Correct. The privilege, yeah. So in fact, most of the time when we see this kind of maternity pictures, right? How you actually decide the theme? Do they actually tell you I will be wearing what, and how do you prepare it?
Well, I mentioned earlier, most of the mom, they will be like wear a cup of tea with the husband. We will go outdoor,
Yeah.
and then some will be more shy. So I will just speak to them and see what are their concerns, what their vision, and we see how we can shoot it. But very much possible, I will try to persuade them to take more of this kind of revealing shots. Yeah, because don't be afraid of all the scratch marks. Don't be afraid of all the changes in your body. So I would like to go close and then take more family shots.
This is can Candy say yes? Have to take pregnant photo. Yes. Yeah. So it's actually this kind of documentation is actually like it's a record. Yet actually it's a evolvement at the same time.
Actually, a lot of women they will tell me they like to take this kind of beauty shots and everything. Then they will say, wait till I lose some weight first and things like that. But this is the time where your stomach is so big and nobody is going to judge you. So if you don't take this now, when? Right? And this is a privilege where only women can experience, is like having a life form inside our body. So I feel that it's where all life begins.
Yeah.
It's definitely a moment.
So I like the fact that actually, in fact, you got stretch mark and all this. It's that moment. Actually, you don't really beautify it, and that even it's the most beautiful moment that you're capturing in whatever the feeling at that point in time also.
No matter is it revealing shots, or no matter is it you take this with your husband, or you are all covered up, it's okay. Just it's important to stop there and appreciate the life that's forming right now, and feel more. Correct.
Yeah, so you can see that really Apple is really she's a documentation of life, and we can say it's if people would ask that, what would you take? People say take everything, but it's about people, it's about subject, it's about emotion, it's about documentation of life. But a lot of people say it must be specialized, wedding. But if you specialize in documentation of life, it's so much value add, it's so much purposeful. Correct. How you feel? Yes, right.
Yes, especially when people see my portfolio, they'll see like, oh, I take everything. Is it I don't specialize in wedding? People will maybe lose confidence in me. But what I want to tell myself is that, at the start of my career, right, I was focusing a lot on weddings, and then I want to photograph those extravagant weddings, those the decor really very wonderful and luxury hotel and everything. I want to capture a big wedding and so forth. But after a few years, I found out that wedding is just a ceremony. What is more important is the marriage, the life after that. And also I want to do more for my couple. Some even become like friends. So I really love to see them, having kids, all grown up, and then how are they doing now. So wedding is just the beginning part where I meet them.
Yes.
I really want to be part of their life after the wedding as well.
Just like when you say the whole process, when I see this picture, I feel so meaningful that I need to ask you. It's like wow, the top picture is actually where It's actually they
Yeah,
get wedding,
I covered their wedding in 2013, if I'm not wrong.
and this was actually
2012.
taken
Yes,
5 years later.
it was taken this year or last year.
Wow.
Yeah. So see, they have 3 children already.
Yes.
So, so when I step into this was taken at the house. So when I step into the house, I see all the kids, running towards me, and I was like, oh wow, I feel like I see my kids grown up. I have that feeling, but I have so many things on my mind to see, the lighting and everything. But I feel like crying, but I still have to pose them. I still have to set my camera setting. Oh my god, I was like, the feeling of, I don't know how to describe, but I really enjoy the feeling.
I really feel that for Apple itself, it's really a good privilege that she can witness a lot of couple journey, a lot of friends that actually built along the way that actually get to know in depth. You don't just shoot the subject and actually buy as a service. Actually, you build the connection. And now when she shares this picture, that the kids actually come and approach her. It's like, is it my baby? Is it my kid? The connection, yeah.
I feel like I'm the mother. and you see here, when I take family photos, right, I always ask the couple, what is it that usually y'all do in the house? What is it that y'all usually do together as a family? And then she was telling me, baking and things like that. So I said, okay, let's do that, right? Of course, we have some post shot, that proper family shot, but as much as possible, I like to include some activities with the children, and then capture them. This is your everyday life. They always help you in the baking, and why not we just cover it? Yes, correct.
So it's actually very, very real lifestyle that they actually involved at the same time. Wow, this will be the last picture. So in fact, when I see this picture, that wow, interesting. Also, you can say it's a parting shot. But who took this picture? We are the photographer. We always take other people picture. Who took this picture itself? So interesting.
One of the 大姐 in the previous photo, one of the child, the eldest, the one rolling.
And they use the phone to document you.
No, actually, Yong Hao was with the shoot with me.
Okay, your partner.
Yeah, correct. So he handed them, because the kids are very rara ma. They are very interested in things I bring, interested in things around them. They will play with this and play with that. They will ask me this, what is this, what is that. So they will just take the camera and then they start shooting. And all the photos that the children took, right, I also hand it back to the couple. I think it's very, very interesting.
They use your camera to take.
Yeah,
they can handle.
Yong Hao was with them. Wow. My sister is with them. Wow. Yeah, so it's actually very like you'll be very amazed what children can do. So they will just running out of it because they are very interested in new things and things that they are
the good thing actually is it's your camera. It's not that it's very valuable. Yet you let them document. Let them actually use it. Yeah.
It's interesting to see how the kids view things. Yeah, so I just let them. So I don't know why she took photo of my. actually, guys, I see this presentation slide just 5 minutes before I go live, and it is all done by Edmund. Yeah, so I don't know why you choose this photo, but well,
yeah, very, very meaningful. In fact, all these pictures that are given to me from Apple yesterday and the day before, in fact, it's a really good documentation that we can say a lot of people miss out the moment. And all these things actually, you may not need a professional photographer at a certain point in time. You can be anytime. So the couple that you met in the wedding itself, he print out the couple picture, put in their wallet. But now actually for us, the phone itself actually is a good camera itself. They also can document itself.
Yes. So typically parents they will say, stand properly, I take a photo of you, stand properly, I take a photo of you. So sometimes actually you can take more spontaneous shots, or sometimes you can even let your child try to take a photo of you. You'll be amazed, what they are saying and what they envision. It could be a conversation and a bonding between you and the children.
Yes. Wow. So the last 45 minutes actually, in fact, it's like a journey of understanding how Apple was triggered by professor, the lecturer, Bob. Then eventually go into different transition. And in fact, she tried different things, learning from the basic, because she learned from the best, she really spent money to learn. And eventually, she become documentation of life. So you can say this is really her journey. So any parting word to the audience out there, whether they are pursuing something or they are lost, what are the things that maybe the parting word for them?
I would say try to capture every moment of your life. whenever you're busy or things like that, it's okay. Just stop for a few seconds, take some photos. Even if it's selfie, it's okay. Just help you remember what that moment, how you're
Yes.
feeling, build up some confidence. Even if it's a picture of your kids, it's okay. Just keep documenting it. Just don't stop. Especially now, technology is getting so easy and advanced where we have our phone. It's okay.
Yes.
Just use a phone and
Yes.
document everything and remember every moment with your loved ones.
Very good parting shot. Thank you, Apple, again for this sharing session. In fact, the guys out there, continue to like and share. Come back and revisit the post again. Look at the link, look at the content again, and enjoy this whole shooting anytime, anywhere, capturing the moment. The next, by 2 o'clock, there will be another sharing session by Sing An and Tommy. If you actually got hobby about rearing fish, a lot of people spend time that actually at home don't know what to do. You actually can learn the basic of fish. Understanding fish is so interesting. So stay tuned at 2 o'clock. Okay, in the meantime, catch up for the next session. I'll invite Apple for the next session of talking about film photography. Okay? See you. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
And thank you all the team here at Oxford.
Yeah, thank you, the team.